I feel like you're trying too hard.
What is it I'm trying?
No, it's sort of like the part down the middle, devil may care. I just, I, it's not really you. Like, it's not the you that I know.
What is the you that I know? Really? What is it?
Well, I mean, it's my perception of who you are based on our years and years of friendship and, all the shit we've been through together. And, um, you know, I just think the shaved head was a better look for you.
The problem is the shape of my skull. Whereas, you know, you have the most beautiful, prominent dome. It's just so lovely to look at, and it's proportional, and it reflects the light in pleasing ways. I have this bump that goes up in the back that's kind of like one of those dinosaurs with the bump on his head. You know that thing?
Mhm.
And this seems to cover it a little bit better. I mean, granted, it's a little dirty, but I think it just kind of, first of all, no offense, but when you have hair, you can do different things with it. So you have choices.
I used to have hair, Daniel.
I know that,
I used to
Stuart.
have hair.
I know that, Stuart. I'm not I I try to be very clear. I'm not shaming you. I'm not I'm simply saying that I could get this cut. But anyway, I just thought it would present more kind of carefree and creative.
You know what's interesting is that it kind of ages you. And
Really?
usually people who like grow their hair out do it because they, they think it's going to make them look younger. But you with the short hair, it's like you lose 10 years. I don't know what it is.
You mean I gained 10 years?
No, you lose 10 years with shorter hair makes you look younger.
Oh, when I have short hair, I look
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah. And the long hair, it's sort of like you look like this like old Revolutionary War spy or something like that. He's been drinking too much.
Well, it's also the white in the beard thing, the facial hair. I don't know. Look, my whole point is if I'm going to go in for this interview, and it's pretty straight-laced, you know. I mean, I've got the moxie, I've got the talent, I've got the know-how. Um, if I'm going to change culture, you know, which is not my ultimate goal, although I want to be treated like I treat people, right? So to walk in with my hair like this to be Barnum's would be to say, look, I know I'm not what you're used to seeing, but this is what I expect to see. And I don't judge people by the way they look. I judge people by their personalities, their heart, and their willingness to listen and learn. Um,
Where'd you go? Did you turn the light off? There you go.
it's this clapper my mother-in-law gave me last Christmas.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't.
Denise! How's Denise?
Denise is good. She's good.
She's fucking crazy. I love Denise.
She's great. But the clapper, it randomly works without clapping.
All right, let's get back to the hair. Um,
So,
look,
my feeling is that if I walk in there and I'm dressed this way, um, but I'm confident and I show a lot of initiative and know-how and the intimate knowledge I have of the company, that they're gonna they're gonna go, wait
Dan,
a minute, maybe
Dan,
we'll, you know. I mean,
Dan,
look, when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't see the bald spot. And maybe that's the saddest thing about an older man with long hair, is particularly ones with ponytails at concerts.
Dan, if they hire you, you're going to be selling pet food.
True.
It's not like it's not like you're going in for an interview at Barney's or Goldman Sachs or something like that. I mean, in a way, I can see how the long hair works in your favor because you kind of look like a golden retriever or what are those crazy dogs with all the long red hair? Afghans?
Yes.
Yeah,
Down the middle
a little bit like that.
at
Yep.
the pet show. Yeah, the dog show.
You actually have sort of like a dog thing going on right now, but maybe that works against you because that's sort of like the inmates running the asylum, right? They don't want a dog at the cashier desk. They want a human. They want somebody who looks like, a person who can take charge and say, that's, $25.67, ma'am. Oh, and do you have a Petco card? Let me get you your discount. And I mean, that's really what they're looking for, somebody who can do those important tasks with authority and integrity. And when you've got the crew cut, you look like a man not to be fucked with, I have to say. And you are a man to be fucked with. That's what's interesting. You could be fucked with in a million different ways, and you know that about yourself. But when you have the crew cut, all of a sudden it's like, this is a serious dude. I need to actually get my Petco card out and be ready to buy the cat food and the catnip and the play toys and not waste this man's time.
Okay, a couple points I want to make. I hear everything you're saying. First of all, I have a question. Are you suggesting that I'm being redundant in walking into this job interview looking like an animal when I'm selling animal food?
Um, I'm thinking more in terms of this sort of the heavy responsibility that you'll be shouldering in the job.
Well, I'm no I'm no stranger to responsibility. That makes me work harder. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, that's self-imposed.
You should say that exactly what you just said. You should say that at the interview. Exactly what you just said.
What did I just say?
I'm no stranger to responsibility. I like responsibility because it makes me work harder.
Right. This is the way I am this is like an interview in a way because I'm a little bit on the defensive and it's okay. That's why I love you so much. You make me, question my motives. Um, my thought is, let's say there's an Afghan on a bag of dog food, right? And I hold up that bag of dog food and I'm like, who knows dogs better than us? I mean, how can you argue with that? Now,
I
somebody
see.
might go, this dude looks like a kind of a shifty dude, but I'm not shifty. I'm pure earnest when
You
I
are.
go.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I'm not going to be delivering the dog food. I got to be real clear about what this job is. This is corporate, okay? This is corporate sales. So I'm talking about I've got, you know, I got the Midwest region, okay? So I'm going from Texas to the top of North Dakota, from let's say the
Whoa,
Mississippi
whoa, whoa, whoa,
to
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Denver.
You're not working at a store?
No, no, no. No, this is selling animal food to distributors,
Oh,
chains,
I
okay?
totally misunderstood.
No.
I thought you were gonna just be like one of those, sad people at the checkout counter.
No, 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 no. You must be thinking of me when I was 20 years old, working at the video cafe,
Those were the days.
when I'd actually had the cojones to say, "Excuse me for a second," and lean down as if I was grabbing for a video and snort a line of coke off the shelf behind the counter, and
You
then
were
look back up and go, "I'm sorry, what were we talking about?"
you were so talented, multi-talented.
This is what I'm talking about. Look, I impose impossible uh, restrictions on myself, and then and they give me obstacles that I have to get over. And in that, the interaction becomes electric.
Let me just ask this question. How many levels of interviewing are there? Is this the initial and then you get bumped up?
No, this is the second interview. So the first one was a
Ah,
Zoom call, kind of like
okay.
this, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it was, excuse me, I just want to make sure my camera's working because if it's not, the interview that I had was not going to be based on reality. There we go. I'm hoping that they never said anything, so I'm assuming it was okay. So it was a Zoom call, and it was like, "Hi, how are you? You know, I'm Daniel Hotspur. I'm.
Are, are you meeting the same? You're not interviewing with the same person, right?
I think it's gonna. I think each interview they add another person to the thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
So
they've already seen you with the long hair and the part in the middle.
actually, when they saw me, I was bald. It's been a very long process.
Wait a minute. That had to be like 9 months ago.
It was actually longer than that. I think it was like 11 and a half months ago. But I think they hired somebody else and they didn't work out. So they're bringing me back in for a second look. And I'm thinking that's going to work for me now because maybe I looked a little too scary and aggressive to them with the butch cut. You know what I mean? Lewis, look, you've got a lot of experience dealing with all sorts of people as a counselor. And I just, or what do I call you? A facilitator? Is that what it was?
Dan, what's really going on here? I mean, 11 and a half months ago.
Yeah. This was a big surprise to me.
And they want you to be like a regional salesperson. Is that what
Yes.
they're saying?
Yes, a regional VP, I think they're calling it. It's a VP situation.
This wasn't one of your waking dreams or fantasies, was it?
No, 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 not at all. It's a legit thing. They're a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, I know. I know.
B Barnes Pet Supplies.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Are you taking the medication I prescribed for
Oh,
you?
hold on a minute. Wait a second. Wait a minute. What are you doing? What are you doing here? What's happening here? Are you questioning my honesty?
I'm finding it hard to believe that you have this second interview after 11 and a half months. That's a long time.
Listen, it's okay for you to question my choices, but if you're suggesting that I've been lying to you about something, I have not been lying. Okay, look, I've got three jobs, right? I work at the nursery. I shuttle people around at the hospital, and occasionally I pet sit. Okay, but that doesn't mean I don't have other irons in the fire. I mean, listen, it's really challenging right now. It's hard. It's hard to be an older man and to be taken seriously. I mean,
I get it. I get it.
you know, I
I
mean, I
get it.
might as well be an actor or something. You know,
Fate worse than death.
yeah, absolutely. So, but first of
Look,
all,
Daniel,
one of
look,
my primary concerns is healthcare. Okay. And let's just be honest here. Medicare is not free. We do not live in a socialist state. We do not live in the UK or Norway or Sweden. You get this thing that you've been told your whole life. Oh, you turn 65, you're going to get it, right? And you get it all right, you know. But what they don't tell you is, oh, by the way, it's going to cost you this much every month. And that so one of the things this job is offering is like a
Daniel,
comprehensive dental implants, hair implants for the
eh,
somebody
okay,
like you could use those. You
all
know what I
right.
mean? There's all sorts of perks here.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity. Um, do you need me to write you a reference or something?
If you wrote me a reference, I'd like you to concentrate on I don't know how you're going to do this without incriminating me in something.
How would I incriminate you?
Well, remember when we used to I just need you to testify on my behalf.
I'm not going to blow your anonymity. I would never do that. Never.
I know that. I think I know that. I believe that. I want to believe that. Okay? But you know, I mean, when we used to sit back and, go through the boxes of milk bones and, and you thought that was it.
I still eat a milk bone every now and then.
Right. I mean, there was no shame in that, right? We were like, these are
It's
pretty
a,
good.
it's actually good fiber.
It's good fiber, but also the taste, right?
Well, I like to put a little sriracha, rich,
Sriracha.
shri, shri,
Sri- Hot sauce.
yeah, I like to put a little of that Tibetan hot sauce on it.
Yeah. But what I always liked about them was the savory aspect. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there was a little bit more than just oat or whatever it was that base
you, you,
taste
you
was.
know I'm not a real counselor, right? You know that, right?
Well, that's why I said you were what's the word I used?
Facilitator.
Facilitator.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not a
But
real facilitator either.
I know, I know. It's like, you know, you're somebody who uses common sense to
I,
solve
I'm
common sense problems.
if we define ourselves by our occupations, which I think is a horribly reductive capitalist thing to do and absolutely soul destroying, and one of the ways late stage capitalism is grinding our spirits into the gutter, I'm a barista. That's what I am.
Absolutely.
And
But
we met because I'm a barista.
you don't have to tell me how we met.
I'm just saying, I feel like you're asking me to give you a lot of advice, and I'm happy to give it, but
I'm not asking for any advice.
you
You're
came
the
to
one
me and you
who's
said, "What do you think?" That the first thing you said was, "What do you think?"
a
What do
simple
you think?
question. You're trying to lay all this stuff like you're showing doubt. You're showing you're questioning my motives. You're questioning the fact that I had my first job interview 11 months ago
Okay,
and
I'm worried
as if
about you.
there's something
Okay,
sus- What are you worried
excuse
about?
me, I'm worried about you.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried that you're like off in a flight of fancy, and that this is all like something that you've dreamed up and it's not real. And I want it to be real for you because I care about you, but I'm afraid that it isn't real. And look, you're a recovering drug addict. I don't know what to believe.
Look, first of all, I want to thank you for taking this time, stepping away from the counter, and being back in the broom closet with your laptop and talking to me like that. Okay? I mean,
My shift is over, so it's not a big deal. But
okay, well, I noticed you didn't go home, and I appreciate that. But the other thing is you and I have never been any anything but up in front and honest with each other, except for the lost years when we saw each other, but we were well, I was lying to you
summer, you
all the
mean
time.
last summer?
Well, it felt like years.
I
But
mean, I had a good time. I'm not saying I didn't have a good time, but
right. Um, all right. Wow, this is becoming so much more than I thought it was going to be. I wanted you to be happy for me. Look, I don't know how much being a barista pays, but I'm assuming you have other streams of income. If
yeah,
you have the luxury of railing on about the capitalist system, maybe it's either because you're above the capitalist system or it's grinding you to death, which by the way is what's happening to me. I've got bills to pay, you know. I've got a kid in his 10th year of college because he can't manage to graduate, okay? And I've just got to eke out some extra money. And I could get rid of the other three jobs. What? Is someone out there?
no, I want to share something with you, but it's really so when you have a close friendship like you and I have,
Yeah.
there are levels. And I feel like you and I have dropped it, we're sort of if you think about it going like down to the center of the earth,
You
we're
mean
like
like peeling the onion and getting to the
to
center
the
of something?
yeah, to the core
The
of it. We're
core.
like at three, but I want to share something with you that's like level four.
Okay.
All
How many
right.
levels are there? Infinite? 10?
I'm gonna say 12.
Okay. So we're at three. That's
Now we're at like seven.
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I think
Thank,
seven is yeah. So
okay.
let's
Thank
go
you.
down to I'm gonna take you down to eight now.
Wow. I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
See, I think we get each other in part because we are both in the same place, which is being ground under the heel of the capitalist boot.
The jackboot, you called it.
Call
Using
it a jackboot. Go
yeah.
ahead and call it that.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I'm part of a movement, and I'd like you to be a part of the movement too.
Tell me more.
Starbucks. You think it's just a bunch of raggedy part-timers and students making a little extra money and midlife losers and dropouts who used to have a career that was going someplace before they got laid off and the wife left and the children never spoke to them again.
Artists,
Artists, and
poets,
it is all,
poets. Yeah.
it is all, that's all true.
Yeah.
But we're forming a movement,
A movement.
yeah, to basically to overthrow capitalism
Wow.
using one of capitalism's great victories, one of its great, I'm not coming up with the right word, but examples, Starbucks.
Tools or examples. Oh, I see. Yes. In a kind of a profile, readily recognizable sort of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, wow, this is a lot to take in right now. Is this just store centric? Is your store ground zero?
Right now, my store, not my store, our
Who
store.
who came up with the idea? It was you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And you got some other people on board with you?
Well, JD is definitely in. He's the
JD.
JD with the nose ring.
Oh yeah.
Mark, Mark's a libertarian, so I mean, I think he's sort of in conceptually, but he wants to make sure that whatever we replace the current system with isn't overly socialist.
What
And
is
that
a libertarian again?
so a libertarian is basically leave me the fuck alone.
Okay.
That's a libertarian.
Live free or die
Yeah,
kind of.
right.
Yeah.
A
That's
lot of libertarians in New Hampshire.
I got
Yeah,
to trust myself more because I thought that's what it meant.
yeah.
Okay. Uh he's a libertarian. All right. Who else? So
Um,
JD.
Taisha, I think Taisha's in, but I don't know that I'm not sure she gets it. I think she thinks that it's sort of like a book club or like a social group, like we're going to go out and karaoke together or something.
So you're gonna hoodwink her.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
trying
you
to
are
explain to her, like, no, this is like, we really are going to topple the power structures in America that are oppressing us.
Uh-huh.
And I gave her some of Lenin's writings to read, and I
Whoa,
don't
whoa, whoa, whoa.
think that really went anywhere. So,
This is this sounds like it could be the beginnings of like an Occupy Starbucks movement or an Occupy caffeine movement or Occupy uh, your visual range, a small portion of your visual range movement. Or the
yeah,
profile goes.
yeah,
Occupy something.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Uh, yeah.
You want to be a part of it?
Listen, on any other day, of course, I would be like, yeah, I got nothing better to do when I'm done, walking the dog or, I'm done down at the nursery or I'm done, I've dropped off the last crowd of people at the hospital for sure. I've got time for a meeting. I can give you my extra time. I mean, what do I got? What am I doing? You know, sitting around and watching Brooklyn 911 or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know, but given that there is some potential with B Barnes, I would just like to
Never mind.
wait. Listen, you. I was
I can already tell that you think I'm full of
no.
shit.
I just have to see this next interview and see what happens because look.
Oh, I see. So if you get like the capitalist, handshake that you're looking for, the movement's dead to you?
No, the movement isn't even alive to me yet. I haven't said anything. I haven't said I'd do it. I'm listening. Okay. All I'm saying is there is potential here that I could somehow represent you in covert ways if I'm higher up the ladder. I might even be able to divert uh, fiduciary responsibilities your way. You know what I mean? Is that the correct use of fiduciary, not responsibilities? I might be able to divert some
Resources.
money your way. Resources. See, these are the things. This is the reason I'm talking to you before this interview because look, all I wanted to ask you earlier was if you could write me a letter and just don't mention the dog biscuits.
Yeah.